Imagine waking up in a world where the American colonies never broke free from British rule, where the French Revolution never ignited the flames of liberty across Europe, or where the digital revolution never put the world at our fingertips. It's hard to picture. That's because revolutions aren't just events that happen in history books. They're the driving forces behind the freedoms we enjoy, the technologies we rely on, and the societies we live in today. Revolutions are the catalysts for change that have shaped the modern world. From the storming of the Bastille to the rise of the internet, these pivotal moments have rewritten the rules of society, toppled empires, and forged new paths for humanity. But have you ever wondered how these revolutions came to be, or what the world would look like if they hadn't happened? In this video, we're diving deep into the revolutions that changed the course of history, exploring the events that sparked them, the challenges they faced, and the lasting impact they've had on our lives today. We'll journey through time, from the American Revolution's fight for independence to the industrial shifts that transformed economies, and even the digital revolution that continues to evolve at lightning speed. So, buckle up as we explore how these revolutions have not only shaped the world we live in, but continue to influence the future. Whether you're a history buff, a tech enthusiast, or just curious about the forces that drive change, this exploration will give you a new perspective on the revolutions that have made the modern world what it is today. Revolutions have always been the turning points in history that push societies beyond the status quo, challenging the powers that be and redefining what's possible. They're not just about dramatic battles or political upheavals, they're about the fundamental shifts that have transformed how we live, work, and think. From the fight for independence in the American colonies to the industrial innovations that redefined economies, revolutions have paved the way for the world we know today. But what exactly is a revolution? At its core, a revolution is a radical change, often driven by a collective desire for something better. It's the moment when people decide that the old ways aren't working and they're willing to fight for a new vision. Whether it's breaking free from colonial rule, overthrowing a monarchy, or embracing technological advancements, revolutions are about seizing the moment and creating lasting change. In this exploration, we're not just looking at these revolutions as historical events, but as the forces that continue to shape our modern world. The ideas born out of these movements didn't just change governments or economies, they laid the foundation for the freedoms, rights, and technologies that define our lives today. We'll trace the origins of these key revolutions, understand the challenges they faced, and see how their legacies live on. Revolutions don't just happen out of the blue. Very often they're the result of deep-seated issues that build up over time until change becomes inevitable. Whether it's political oppression, economic inequality, or the rise of new ideas, revolutions are often born from a perfect storm of factors that make the status quo unsustainable. Take a moment to think about the world before these revolutions. Societies were often rigid, with power concentrated in the hands of a few, leaving the majority with little say in their own lives. In the American colonies, people grew tired of being ruled from across the ocean without representation or a voice in the decisions that affected them daily. In France, ordinary citizens watched as the monarchy lived in luxury while they struggled to survive. These conditions created a sense of frustration and urgency, a belief that something had to change. But it's not just political or economic conditions that lead to revolutions. Ideas play a crucial role too. The Enlightenment, for example, was a period where new philosophies about democracy, human rights, and the role of government began to take hold. These ideas spread like wildfire, challenging the old ways of thinking and inspiring people to demand more from their leaders. It wasn't enough to just accept things as they were. People began to believe in the possibility of a better future, one where they had a say in how they were governed. Economic factors also played a significant role in sparking revolutions. The Industrial Revolution, for instance, was driven by new technologies and innovations that changed the way people worked and lived. But with these changes came challenges, such as harsh working conditions, low wages, and the displacement of traditional industries. These economic shifts created new tensions and a sense of injustice, leading to demands for better conditions and fairer treatment. In many cases, these economic, political, and ideological factors combined to create a powerful force for change. However, revolutions aren't always straightforward or predictable. They're complex events with multiple causes and outcomes. Some revolutions succeeded in achieving their goals, while others led to unintended consequences or even greater instability. For example, while the French Revolution brought about significant changes in France, it also led to years of turmoil and the rise of Napoleon's empire. What's clear is that revolutions are a response to a deep need for change, a breaking point where the old ways can no longer hold. Now that we've explored the conditions that give rise to revolutions, it's time to dive into the stories of some of the most significant revolutions in history, events that didn't just change their respective countries, but reshaped the entire world. Each of these revolutions was driven by a unique set of circumstances, yet they all share a common thread: the desire for a better, more just society. Before we get into it, quickly hit the like and subscribe buttons to help support us and allow us to make more videos. The American Revolution, a fight for independence. The American Revolution is one of the most iconic and influential revolutions in history. It began as a struggle for independence from British rule, but evolved into something much larger, a fight for the principles of liberty, democracy, and self-governance. In the 18th century, the American colonies were under British control, subject to taxes and laws imposed by a government thousands of miles away, in which they had no representation. This lack of political power, combined with economic pressures like the infamous Stamp Act and Tea Act, led to growing resentment among the colonists. The slogan, "No taxation without representation," captured their frustration and became a rallying cry for revolution. The revolution officially began in 1775 with the battles of Lexington and Concord. Over the next 8 years, the colonists fought a grueling war against the might of the British Empire. But it wasn't just a military struggle. The battle was that of ideas. The Declaration of Independence, penned by Thomas Jefferson in 1776, articulated the colonists' belief in natural rights, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This document didn't just declare independence, it set forth a vision for a new kind of nation, one founded on the principles of equality and self-determination. The American Revolution was a turning point in global history. It inspired other colonies and oppressed peoples around the world to seek their own independence. The ideas of democracy and individual rights spread far beyond America's borders, influencing revolutions in France, Latin America, and beyond. Today, the legacy of the American Revolution can be seen in the democratic institutions that exist around the globe, proving that the fight for freedom can truly change the world. The French Revolution: liberty, equality, fraternity. While the American Revolution was driven by a desire for independence, the French Revolution was fueled by a profound dissatisfaction with the existing social and political order. By the late 18th century, France was a country in crisis. The monarchy was deeply unpopular, the economy was in shambles, and the vast majority of the population lived in poverty. At the same time, the aristocracy enjoyed a life of luxury. The French Revolution began in 1789 when the Estates General, a legislative assembly representing the three estates, clergy, nobility and commoners, was convened for the first time in over a century. The commoners, or Third Estate, found themselves outnumbered and outvoted by the privileged classes, despite representing the vast majority of the population. This inequality sparked outrage, leading to the formation of the National Assembly, which declared itself the true representative of the French people. The revolution quickly escalated with the storming of the Bastille on July 14, 1789, becoming a symbol of the people's defiance against tyranny. Over the next several years, France underwent radical transformations. The monarchy was abolished, King Louis XVI was executed, and the country was declared a republic. The revolutionaries sought to create a society based on the principles of liberty, equality, and fraternity. However, the French Revolution was also marked by extreme violence and turmoil. The Reign of Terror, led by Robespierre, saw thousands of perceived enemies of the revolution executed by guillotine. Yet despite the chaos, the French Revolution had a profound impact on the world. It challenged the idea of divine right and absolute monarchy, promoted secularism, and laid the groundwork for modern human rights. The Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen, adopted during the Revolution, became a cornerstone for later democratic movements. The Industrial Revolution, the birth of modern economies. Unlike the political revolutions in America and France, the Industrial Revolution was a transformation of a different kind. This economic revolution fundamentally changed the way people lived and worked. Beginning in Britain in the late 18th century, the Industrial Revolution saw the transition from agrarian economies based on manual labor to industrial economies powered by machines and factories. Before the Industrial Revolution, most people lived in rural areas and worked in agriculture. Life was hard and progress was slow. However, the invention of new machinery, such as the spinning jenny and the steam engine, revolutionized production processes. Factories sprang up, cities grew, and the way goods were made and distributed changed forever. This revolution wasn't just about machines, though, it was about people. The rise of factories created new job opportunities, drawing people from the countryside to the cities in search of work. However, this also led to harsh working conditions, long hours, and low wages. The rapid urbanization brought about by the Industrial Revolution created a host of social challenges, from overcrowding and poor sanitation to child labor and exploitation. Despite these challenges, the Industrial Revolution had an undeniable impact on the modern world. It sparked unprecedented economic growth, increased productivity, and improved standards of living for many. It also laid the foundation for the capitalist economies we see today, where innovation and efficiency drive progress. Moreover, the Industrial Revolution set the stage for future technological advancements. The development of transportation networks, such as railways and steamships, shrank the world and connected people in ways that were previously unimaginable. The rise of mass production and consumer culture transformed how we live, work, and consume goods. The Russian Revolution, the rise of communism. While the American and French revolutions were centered on the ideals of democracy and human rights, the Russian Revolution was a fight against the deep inequalities of a feudal society. In the early 20th century, Russia was a vast empire ruled by a Tsar, with a society deeply divided between the wealthy aristocracy and the impoverished masses. World War I exacerbated these divisions, leading to widespread discontent. The Russian Revolution began in 1917, first with the February Revolution, which led to the abdication of Tsar Nicholas II and the establishment of a provisional government. However, this government struggled to address the country's pressing issues, including the ongoing war and economic hardship. This discontent provided an opening for the Bolsheviks, a radical socialist group led by Vladimir Lenin, to seize power in the October Revolution. The Bolsheviks promised peace, land and bread, appealing to war-weary soldiers, peasants and workers. After taking control, they quickly moved to withdraw Russia from World War I, redistribute land to peasants and nationalize industry. The revolution didn't only want to overthrow the old regime, it sought to completely transform society by abolishing private property and establishing a classless communist state. The Russian Revolution had a profound impact on global politics. It led to the creation of the Soviet Union, the world's first socialist state, which would go on to become a superpower, rivaling the United States during the Cold War. The revolution also inspired communist movements around the world, from China to Cuba, fundamentally altering the global political landscape. However, the Russian Revolution also came with significant challenges. The new Soviet government faced internal opposition, leading to a brutal civil war and years of political repression. The promise of a utopian society was marred by the reality of authoritarian rule under leaders like Joseph Stalin, who implemented policies that led to widespread suffering and loss of life. Despite its complexities and controversies, the Russian Revolution remains one of the most significant events of the 20th century. It challenged the existing world order and introduced a new ideological divide that would shape global politics for decades. The legacy of the Russian Revolution continues to influence political thought and movements to this day, reminding us of the power of ideas to drive revolutionary change. The digital revolution, a new era of connectivity. While the revolutions we've discussed so far took place in the physical world, the digital revolution has transformed the virtual realm. Beginning in the late 20th century and continuing into the 21st, the digital revolution has been characterized by the rise of computers, the internet, and digital technology. This revolution has changed nearly every aspect of our lives, from how we communicate to how we work, shop, and entertain ourselves. The invention of the computer in the mid-20th century planted the seeds of the digital revolution. But it was the development of the internet that truly ignited this revolution. The internet connects people across the globe, breaking down barriers of distance and time and creating a new digital world where information can be shared instantly. This revolution has brought about unprecedented levels of connectivity. Social media platforms, email and instant messaging have transformed how we communicate, allowing us to stay in touch with friends and family, share ideas, and organize movements in ways that were previously unimaginable. The rise of e-commerce has changed the way we shop, making it possible to buy goods and services from anywhere in the world with just a few clicks. The internet has democratized knowledge, making it possible for anyone with an internet connection to access vast amounts of information on virtually any topic. This has had a profound impact on education, journalism, and even politics, as people are now more informed and connected than ever before. However, the digital revolution has also introduced new challenges. The spread of misinformation, concerns about privacy and data security, and the rise of digital divides between those with and without access to technology are issues that continue to shape our digital world. Moreover, the increasing reliance on technology has raised questions about the impact on our mental health and the nature of human interaction. Despite these challenges, the digital revolution has undoubtedly changed the world. It has transformed economies, created new industries, and altered the way we live. As we continue to navigate this digital age, it's clear that the revolution is far from over. The innovations and changes brought about by this revolution will continue to shape the future, just as the industrial and political revolutions of the past shaped the world we live in today. These revolutions, each unique in their causes, methods, and outcomes, have collectively shaped the modern world in profound ways. From the fight for independence in America to the rise of digital technology, these events have redefined what's possible for societies and individuals alike. They remind us that while revolutions are often born out of struggle, they have the power to create lasting change that resonates across time and space. By understanding these pivotal moments, we gain a deeper appreciation for the forces that continue to shape our world and the possibilities for revolutionary change in the future. The French Revolution, despite its chaos, eventually led to the establishment of the French Republic and the spread of revolutionary ideals across Europe. The Industrial Revolution, while marked by social displacement and labor exploitation, gave rise to labor movements and reforms that improved working conditions and established rights that workers enjoy today. The Russian Revolution, despite its brutal aftermath, led to the creation of the Soviet Union, which played a critical role in global politics throughout the 20th century. Lastly, The ongoing digital revolution continues to navigate the complexities of privacy and misinformation, with efforts being made to create more secure and responsible digital environments. Revolutions are never easy and rarely perfect. They are messy, complicated, and often fraught with unintended consequences. Yet they are also a powerful force for change. The revolutions we've discussed transform societies, economies, and even the global order. They challenge the status quo, pushing humanity to rethink and reshape the structures of power, governance, and technology. Today, we live with the legacies of these revolutions. The democratic values established by the American and French revolutions continue to influence political systems worldwide. The economic transformations of the Industrial Revolution laid the groundwork for the modern economy. The ideological battles of the Russian Revolution reshaped global politics, and the ongoing digital revolution is redefining how we connect, communicate, and live our lives. So, what can we do today to drive the changes we want to see in the world? First, educate yourself about the issues that matter most to you. Knowledge is power, and understanding the history of revolutions can provide valuable insights into how change is achieved. Next, get involved. Whether it's through activism, community organizing, or simply having conversations with others about the changes you want to see. Finally, never underestimate the impact of your voice and actions. Revolutions start with individuals who dare to imagine a different future. As we look to the future, remember that the power to create change lies within each of us. The revolutions of the past remind us that while the road to progress is challenging, it's a journey worth taking. Let's continue to push forward, inspired by the lessons of history, to create a better world for ourselves and future generations.